Hi, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Ringside Recap. I am your host, Nathan the Ninja, and let's get started with a brand new week of the flagship show, Monday Night Raw. So, this week on Monday Night Raw, I know I saw earlier on my social media that Roman Reigns is going to come and probably give a piece of his mind to CM Punk, which I'm gonna bet that they're gonna have a brawl by the end of this podcast episode. And then we also have another big exciting match today. Will be AJ Lee versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which I think is going to be good. I feel like Bayley is going to definitely carry this match because, AJ is still a little bit ring rusty. And then I think I saw there's going to be like the original El Grande Americano versus the other El Grande Americano. So we're gonna see how that match is gonna be. I'm not really too excited for the match. I feel like that match is gonna be low-key a waste of everyone's time. And I kind of want to hear y'all's opinions on what happened on Friday. I can't even believe we saw Randy Orton act like that. We had '09 Randy. I'm still thinking about that. That's been on my mind all weekend, literally. Well, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen Friday and see what Cody's going to do. Cause he's going to probably show himself in a glorious suit that he be coming in, and he's going to give Randy a piece of his mind, and Randy might come back and double back. Because if y'all watch '09 Randy, he didn't care about nothing. That man had no care in the world but for a championship. So I'm excited what's going to happen Friday is coming up. But after all that, let's get started with the show. So y'all, the show opens up with Seth Rollins coming out with the Masked Men, and basically him coming out telling the world that, he made the vision and he will destroy the vision. So he goes on in a little angry rant. So then we hear the crowd kind of booing, really, that Paul Heyman came out, and basically Steph was saying like, "Oh, Paul, you look so scared. I'm not gonna hurt you." And Paul was like, when someone messes with me, you get basically the beast. So Brock Lesnar comes out and he just starts cleaning up house with all the masked men that Rollins was carrying out with him. But then Brock gets in the ring with Steph and they have a little bit of a stare down. And then most randomest appearance, it was Oba Femi came out marching to the ring. And him and Brock had this stare down, and then Oba Femi picks up Brock Lesnar. I mean, he picked up a 300-pound man with ease and hit him with the fall of grace. Now, if y'all watched and saw what Michael Cole was like, oh my God, he has never seen anyone pick up Brock Lesnar like that. I don't think even I seen anyone pick up Brock Lesnar like that. I think maybe the last time we saw that maybe was Undertaker, when him and Undertaker was going at it for WrestleManias. But that had my jaw on the floor. And I know we said, a couple weeks ago that Brock Lesnar is having an open challenge for WrestleMania. So after Oba Femi did his finisher on him, he put his foot on Brock and pointed to the WrestleMania sign. So I guess it's gonna be Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. And I am actually excited for this one. I think this is going to be a really good big man versus big man match at WrestleMania, but I'm not sure if this is true. Now, I heard a couple rumors that Brock Lesnar said that he doesn't want to lose any more matches when he retires. So we're gonna see what WWE does about that. And I don't hate Obafemi to lose to Brock Lesnar, but at the same time, this is Brock Lesnar, and I'm pretty sure he has put his money worth to win the match. So we'll see what's gonna happen. So, y'all, the first match of the night was the original El Grande Americano versus the other El Grande Americano. And this match was okay. I think I said earlier I wasn't really too excited for this match. It was okay. It was a good opener to the show. And the other El Grande picked up the win due to Los Americanos putting a metal plate inside of El Grande's mask, and then the original one tried to do a headbutt and accidentally knocked himself out. So that was that match. I honestly cannot wait for that feud to end. I honestly think it's being carried on a little bit too long for my liking. So yeah, that was that match. So then we get a quick little segment of Roman Reigns pulling up to the arena and was met by the Usos. And basically, Roman dapping up the Usos, saying, thank you. I know it felt good to get your hands on CM Punk last week for disrespecting their, I want to say, uncle, which is Roman's father. I think that's how it goes for how they're related to each other. And Roman proceeded to say all the bloodline family members, they should be mad at what CM Punk has said about Roman's father. So here's my little prediction, I'll say, that I think that some of the bloodline members, even Solo, might come out and try to help Roman at WrestleMania. So guess we'll see what that's gonna be like, I guess. I don't know. So, y'all, we get a quick little Liv Morgan segment. Basically, just her hyping up her WrestleMania match with Stephanie, and also her saying that how they kicked out Finn at the Judgment Day. And it was really just a bunch of nothing. Just them hyping up the matches they're going to have during WrestleMania. And then we come back to the Usos and Roman, and basically Roman saying that, I don't care if Punk is calling me a part-timer, at least I'm a full-time father to my kids and my wife. And the Usos like, yeah, bro, that's all that matters. But Punk needs to give y'all an apology. He needs to give our whole family an apology. Because I don't need the apology, but y'all do. So, who knows? Guess we're going to see later on tonight. So, y'all, the second match of the night was AJ Lee versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And that match was a good match. I was actually really surprised with AJ. I was thinking earlier in the episode that she was going to have some ring rust because she didn't really look too sharp when she was going against Becky for the championship, but she really worked hard within the past couple weeks and she looked great. She almost looked like her old self before she had left. But all in all, it was a great match. Could be possibly the match of the night, but it's definitely up there. And AJ Lee won and retained her championship. So maybe next week they're gonna do another Women's Intercontinental Open Challenge. I wonder if they're doing this for all the side championships, including the United States Championship. But I don't know. Then we get a quick little segment of JD McDonough fussing at GM Adam Pearce about Dominic not being able to be medically cleared to go after his championship that he lost to Penta. But that was it. It really wasn't nothing. So, y'all, when the show comes back on, we see Becky Lynch jumping AJ Lee, basically slinging her all across the ring stage, and just throwing her around like a rag doll. And then Becky Lynch ended up holding up the Intercontinental Championship and basically probably stating her challenge to Becky at WrestleMania, probably to go against her for the championship. And then at the end, Becky hit AJ in the face with the championship. Nothing really out the ordinary for Becky. And then later on, we see Penta going to the ring and basically telling the whole world that, no matter who comes out for his Intercontinental Championship, he will be ready for anyone. So the person that came out was Dragon Lee. So the match between Dragon Lee and Penta, it was a great match. That was most definitely the match of the night. Two luchadors just going back and forth, high flying, crazy tricks. Amazing. And the winner of the match ended up being Penta. And then Penta showing true sportsmanship and shaking Dragon Lee's hand. And they both just celebrate in the ring. So then later after the match, we have again Paul Heyman and Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Basically, Logan and Austin was telling Paul that, yeah, we're gonna get Seth Rollins. He's gonna be a dead man because of what he done of you and everything else. And Paul's like, no. We need y'all to get in the title scene picture. You need to go after the Usos to get the tag team championships, and then later on we can work on giving you single championships. So Austin Theory is like, you know what? I'm gonna go into that right now. I'm gonna see if I can, get a title shot opportunity or something. So we'll see. And y'all, Paul was looking rough tonight. He looked so terrible. He didn't shave his face, or he got the cut on his nose. And earlier in the day, he had a red eye, but then talking to Austin and them, his eye just cleared up. It's not really red anymore. So he probably made his eye red on purpose in the beginning of the show. And I forgot to tell y'all, happy Austin 316 Day. I forgot to say that earlier in the episode. But happy Austin 316 Day. And I hope y'all have a can or two. And if you don't drink, don't have a can of juice or something. But yeah, I forgot to say that to you earlier in the show. So y'all, we have a quick little segment of Randy Orton. And it was supposed to be an interview with him and Michael Cole, but it really wasn't an interview. It opens up with Randy on the phone with someone, and I'm going to take a guess that this could be Ric Flair or possibly Batista, because if people who do not know, all 3 plus Triple H was in a group called Evolution. And that was a whole good group of itself. And basically, he was like, I was on the phone with someone who had brains, and I was going through my calls and text messages of everyone that was telling me about Friday, and it reminded myself that I am a killer. And to Cody, there is more than one royal family in wrestling. So that made me think that it's definitely gonna be Ric Flair. Royal family, I definitely think it's him. Ric Flair, Batista, yeah. Somewhere in that realm. And then we get a quick little segment of Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Kofi, and Grayson. People who do not know, Kofi is trying to recruit Javon to be on the New Day or vice versa. And Javon is like, yeah, no. And Kofi is like, come on, I'm not even trying to tell you to join the New Day, and yada yada yada. And Dragon Lee was just there. Javon jumped on Dragon Lee and it was just, hyping him up, whatever, congratulating him for his match with Penta. And then Danhausen comes out and does his little spill, like, how about, Danhausen and Kofi being a group, because you're trying to get rid of Xavier. And Kofi's like, no, I'm not trying to do that. And then Grayson comes and try to enter his 2 cents. And, Danhausen is like, you are cursed. And as Danhausen was saying that, Kofi pushed Grayson in front of the cursed energy. And so I guess Grayson is going to be cursed later on tonight or next week. So, y'all, the last match of the night was Stephanie Valkyrie versus Raquel, and that match was okay. Typical match between them two, and Liv Morgan was also there trying to distract Stephanie, and it was okay. Really ain't much to go on. Then Io came out trying to help Stephanie, but ended up getting tossed into the announce table, and the winner ended up being, of course, Stephanie. And it really wasn't much there. And then we get a segment with Bailey and Lyra basically telling each other, yeah, we're going to find a way to get to WrestleMania again, and then we can get there together. And then Asuka and Kyrie said, you two cost me for getting a shot at AJ's title, and it should have been me with the title. And somehow it ended up turning to them possibly maybe having a women's tag team, probably contenders match, I'm pretty sure, within the next couple weeks or so. So Bailey and Lyra are going to try to go for the tag team champions, Lash Legend and Nia. And then we have another little segment of the Usos walking in the back and getting stopped by LA Knight. And LA Knight is basically like, you're my homies if you're going against the Vision, but you can't be my homies if you're trying to go back to the old bloodline rules family thing. And basically the Usos told LA Knight, like, hey, this is just family business. This ain't nothing personal between us. But LA Knight was like, well, it is personal if you're going back to the bloodline. And they basically was just saying that. Ain't really much. Basically like, oh yeah, are we still homies? And Jimmy dapped up LA, but Jay didn't. So who knows what that's gonna be. So, y'all, the last segment of the night was Roman Reigns basically coming out to the ring and just saying once again he is the tribal chief. He has been in the beginning of the show, the middle of the show, And now at the end, and then calls out Punk. Punk comes out and he just goes on saying, once again, Roman, you are a part-time player. Just going off this, saying little shots here and there. And then, CM Punk was like, basically, like, only my close family calls me Phil. And what is even your real name? Then he said some random name. And Roman was his ha ha ha, ki. And it was this throwing shots at each other all this whole like 15-minute segment. And really, it was just them going back and forth. I mean, it really wasn't too much than what you already heard from them, if that makes sense. So I really didn't care, or really wasn't as interested as I was Friday between Cody and Randy. But at the end, Roman got in the head of CM Punk, and CM Punk hit Roman in the head, but backstage crew stopped CM Punk from trying to go any farther than what it was. And Roman was just talking trash to him, saying, just mouthing off, like, I'm in your head, nah. But that was the end of the show. And after all, I'm gonna give the show it a 7 out of 10. It was a decent show. Probably a good, decent Raw than I've seen in the past couple weeks. But it was a good show. Penta and Dragon Lee was the match of the night. I really enjoyed their match. And I hope we see more matches like that with Penta and Dragon Lee. And after all that, it was a great show. I really enjoyed this show this Monday. But after that, I want to say thank you for all of you listening to this show. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and also tell your friends and family about the show, whoever likes wrestling, or just don't want to watch a 3-hour show and I can cut it less than 30 minutes or more. And also, once again, happy 3/16 day. And after all that, thank you for spending time with me today. I really hope you enjoy and come back. And love one another, be blessed, and mental health matters.